Well, I'm only new to this, but I thought I'd share some of the fun I've been having restoring a few bits of furniture that I've found around the place. I found this little cabinet in our back shed which has been holding paint and garden tools for several years now. It came from my grandfather's house when he moved about 14 years ago, and I think in its latter years it may have held tools in his workshop also. So I decided to take a closer look, clean it up and give it a new lease of life. When I pulled it out of the shed, it was quite dusty and in pretty bad shape. You can see the different latches and knobs have been changed over its lifetime. Its top had been covered in a square of linoleum and the edges trimmed with a pale green plastic edging strip. I began by unscrewing the edging strip and removing the lino from the top. I was nicely surprised to find a well-kept wooden top underneath, sporting a few pencil markings and a coffee cup stain, which I'm sure tell a story of its former life. I'm loving that lino piece, by the way. Might see it hanging on my wall one day. An art piece in itself. So then began the tedious job of stripping back the old paint, using paint stripper, and with the possibility of old lead-based paints, you should always wear a mask and use gloves. The yellow layer of paint gave way to a pinkish colour paint underneath, and then the original paint colour of a pale green. As I came to this final layer, I noticed that each cabinet door had a tiny floral motif in the centre. I imagined the person who made it carefully placing these pretty flowers in the centre, not knowing they'd be hidden away for years under paint and eventually uncovered in the distant future by me. Well, the paint stripping process was painstaking until my brilliant husband suggested I use his heat gun to melt the paint, and it came off in an instant. So there we have it, the stripping process complete. And here's my lovely daughter helping me stir the undercoat. And here we have the pretty much finished paint job. I decided to go with Dulux Antique White for the inserts of the cabinet doors and side walls, and Dulux New Hope Green for the trimmings. I sanded back the wood top a little and painted it with a walnut stained varnish, which gave it a little darker tint to help but not totally cover the coffee cup stain, because I still like the little bit of character and the history showing through. Well, here's where I got another surprise. I was cleaning the insides of the cupboard when at the inside top front I felt a little latch, and I flicked it aside and tried to figure out what it was for when I pushed up the top middle section of the cupboard, and out it came. After sending pictures to my dad and his side of the family, one of my uncles says he vaguely remembers it being an old pantry for their camping trips and believed that it used to have a metal casing in this top part for an ice chest. So, what a great little piece of history. After all the painting, I realised that I really should have taken the hinges off those doors to clean them up for a tidier look. So I did that, and I'm much happy with the way they came out. Then I wanted to create some old feel and character, so I sanded the edges, giving the paint job a shabby chic look. I found some glass knobs for the doors, and basically left the insides as original as they could be. But overall, I'm really happy with the result, and I've been having fun finding other little projects to do.